Hi, I'm Britt.
And my name is Alyssa.
And this is SkeleTales.
And this is the podcast where we strive to answer the age-old question of, is my dead grandma watching me?
She might be. But tonight, we've got a special night.
We have a SkeleTalk. We're sitting in our wing-back chairs, pulled up to the fire. We got our hot cocos ready to go, those nice summery hot cocos. And we're sitting down for a SkeleTalk.
That's right. Tonight, we have the goddess, Meredith Flanagan, with us. Now, Meredith is a published writer, a poet, and the host of the podcast, Remarkable Voices. And I have heard that she might have a spooky story to share with us tonight. Hi, Meredith. Welcome.
Hello. Hi. Thank you so much. What an amazing introduction. I'm so excited to chat with you.
Did I miss anything? I feel like every time I talk to you, you're doing more and more incredible things. Like you just informed me before we recorded that you're now doing sketch comedy writing. That's incredible.
Well, I'm in a sketch comedy level 1 class. So,
okay.
Yeah, I would say I'm the lowest level student you can possibly be.
But you're doing it.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
I was going to say, feel free to tell that joke that I told before. You can steal that one for your sketch comedy. Should I tell the folks at home real quick the joke so we're all clued in? Okay.
Definitely.
All right. Hey, everyone. Have you heard of this new camping trend, extreme camping?
No.
I hear it's intense. Meredith, that's all yours. Okay? That's for you now. After I told all our listeners.
Thank you for this gift.
Yes, no problem. DM me anytime you want more. Okay. The lines are open. She's going to block me.
Block. Alyssa's trying to tell me another joke again. Block, block, block. So I was at a little kid's birthday party the other day, and Meredith was there. It was her nephew's birthday party, and she runs up to me and she's like, Britt, I have a story for you. She starts to tell me the story, and I said, stop! Why don't you tell it on the podcast? And then that way, everybody can hear it at the same time.
I'm very excited.
Okay. Well, I'll SkeleTalk.
Yes.
I went to a beautiful soiree with my husband on a certain part of town in Austin. I couldn't tell you which part of town. Really, I couldn't. I'm new in town.
Okay.
But it was just so beautiful. There was a girl from my hometown playing music, Carolina Shove, and there were some other musicians there. It was just very enchanting. We were sitting on a quilt in the front yard, or the front gravel driveway, rather. And there were just different musical acts. And it was just one of the first things that I had gone to socially since getting vaccinated, where I really felt like, oh, yeah, this is my kind of thing. And these are my kind of people. This guy is in a band. He starts to play the saw. And I was like, yes, musical saw.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it took me a sec. I thought it was a song I was not familiar with. Then I realized you meant like the tool. He's playing it as a musical instrument.
Have you heard it played before, Alyssa?
Yeah, I believe so. What's coming to mind is almost a theremin, but also like a violin, like a mix between that sort of like, woo, no, that was not it. But
exactly.
Yes.
No, that's exactly right. That's how I would. It's like an ethereal sound.
Yeah.
So I saw him playing his saw. I was just transfixed, and by this time the atmosphere was so gentle and calming. Everyone in the audience was just together and quiet, and it had turned this incredible dusk. So I turned to my husband, Patrick, and I said, I got to get a musical saw. I want to learn to play the saw. And so I talked to the guy. It turns out his name is Jeff, and he's been playing the saw for a while. And he said, yeah, just go and get yourself a saw. I think he mentioned that older saws are better, and look on YouTube. There's all kind of, instructions on how to play the saw. So we went to one store and we didn't find anything. And then we ended up at this antique store in my town, Buda. I'm really wary of antique because I've always believed that ghosts stay with items if they have particular ones, But I had no thought of this. I was just, la, la, la. Yeah, can't wait to get my saw, I'm going to be a saw player.
Is a musical saw a specific, like, could you just get any old, like, lumberjack timberman saw, or is it like a specific musical saw?
It has to be like longer though, right?
I think it's best if it is longer, but I'm not practiced.
Okay. Okay.
That's what they say. It is better if it's longer, and you do want it to bend.
Okay.
So, antique store, right?
Yeah.
Like, these saws are used. So we walk around, we're just hanging out, we find nothing. And I finally see this saw that is just beautiful. It's gorgeous. I've never seen a saw like this. It had pronged teeth, and at the end they kind of flared out. It's kind of like very creepy looking. And then on the end there is a very peculiar like knob where you could turn it,
which you were probably like perfect for grasping while I play this thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be so much fun, So I have the saw and I'm walking around. I'm just really interested in everything I'm seeing. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, at the time, I was really I still am into. I'm glad I'm reminding myself of this interest now. John Wayne outfits.
Wait, the cowboy, not the serial killer, right?
Yes, not Gacy, right?
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't sure where we were going, if we were going to clown or cowboy land there for just a second. Okay. Cowboys on board.
So I'm carrying this heavy saw around, which, by the way, is so big. It's like standing up from the ground, touching the ground up to my waist. It's huge.
Like 4 feet tall then, huh?
I guess so, yeah.
Wait, how tall are you,
and
Meredith?
I'm walking.
Okay, 4 feet for me. 3 feet for Meredith. Shut up, I forget not everybody's my size.
I'm 5'6".
Okay, got it. All right.
So I'm walking around and I have this giant rusted, beautiful antique saw, and I'm holding it and trying not to slice any part of me,
Right.
And also looking for cool John Wayne attire that I might find. And Patrick's just walking around, and I did go upstairs at this antique store, and I just felt so uncomfortable. I just immediately, there was a different feeling going upstairs,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted so badly to be present, but I just knew that I wasn't alone. And it scared me more than it comforted me, and not in a fun way. So I got back downstairs as quickly as I could. And we went to the checkout, and we kind of mentioned, like, it's a little spooky up there. Do you have any kind of stories? And the, I guess, manager said, oh, it's definitely haunted.
What, was it a girl or a guy?
It's a man and a woman.
Okay.
The
Mhm.
manager or the ghost?
They said that.
Wait.
The manager.
Okay, sorry. I need. It takes a lot for me to focus. I'm sorry. Clear.
We're in it together. But they said it was definitely haunted, that they had hired one of those, what do you call them? These
paranormal investigator.
You said it. You know all the terms. They hired them and they spent all the money, and all of them said, ding, ding, ding. This place is off the charts.
Super haunted.
And you are told all of this at checkout? So you're like, cool. And bye.
Yeah. Like, how ridiculous. There was no thought. I was just so happy that I was getting the freaking saw that I think at one point I was like, oh, okay, stop, please. Because it got a little much. But my husband loves this stuff.
Yeah.
He had a buddy who looked at the upstairs of that store before it was retail. They were renting it out at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he refused to rent it because of all the haunting reports.
Whoa.
So they were just kind of like egging each other on back and forth. We got the saw and we bought it, and I'm like skipping to the car, Patrick's holding the saw. I'm like joking to him, wow, I hope we're not bringing a ghost into our house.
Dun, dun,
And
dun.
then some stuff started happening. So I'm on YouTube. I'm learning how to hold the saw. I order a bow. I have the rosin, and I'm rosining up the bow, and I'm just very thrilled. And then some very freaky shit started.
Like
So
that moment
No.
you start playing? Oh, just in general. Okay. I was like, what kind of music came out of there? Spirits released.
Okay, so one thing I should mention is that we live in a townhouse. This is a brand new build. It was just built like 8 months ago. We've only been here 3 months. And being a townhouse, we have a neighbor on the other side, but we've never heard her. And one morning I was getting ready for work, just in my routine, listening to music, saying affirmations to myself in the mirror, having a great old time. And I just hear this like, that wasn't really a good representation.
Was it like a gust? Is that, or just what was, do it again.
No, it was like, no, that wasn't it either. I don't know how to make sounds with my mouth. It sounded like a concrete box or a really heavy object was dropped on the floor above me.
What's above you? Is it the attic?
No, upstairs is just the second floor. It has a couple bedrooms and the office.
So you're downstairs. You hear this loud thunk coming from upstairs. What's happening? What's going on in your brain?
So I'm really, really scared. So I just check to make sure that all the animals are downstairs. So I'm like, okay, eliminate all the obvious.
Is your husband home at this time?
He's at work.
Okay.
It's also morning. So it's kind of like, don't be an idiot, like ghosts won't torture you in the daytime,
Right.
But your brain went immediately to ghost. Once you knew the animals were accounted for and your husband, you're like, okay, shit. Only leaves a ghost. Not maybe curtains falling. Sometimes you have those Venetian I can tell you've got some Venetian blinds based on the shadows being cast upon your face right now. My detective work. I could see that sound being the blinds suddenly falling or coming up. Ooh, or someone opening them, which is freakier because...
Meredith, I should preface, we did not talk about this before we started recording. Alyssa is a huge skeptic.
Oh, awesome. Okay, good.
She's bringing that to the table. I'm with you 100%. It is a ghost, not Venetian blinds. But I am curious, what did you do? Did you go upstairs or did you literally just run out of the house?
Okay, so to be clear, this sound scared me so bad. I just kind of was like frozen trying to understand what that could have been because all the animals were downstairs. We have 2 dogs and a cat. I've never heard my neighbor before. And my husband's at work. I was just scared. I didn't know what that sound was. And it's a big house. I didn't know what to do. I told him about it and he said, oh, it's probably just something,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Something falling somewhere, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then a couple of days later, maybe even a week later, I don't know, there was a series of really strange occurrences that we just kind of both scratched our head and said, are we losing it? Or did we kind of invite something here that we didn't mean to?
Like what? What happened?
So we're downstairs making dinner. We're just hanging out and the lights flicker on and off.
Uh-huh. Classic haunting. Classic.
Yeah. So he said that in retrospect, he wasn't really convinced until that point that there was something going on. I'm making sure I'm not going to get scared right now. Okay.
You're doing great. You're doing wonderful.
I'm secretly hoping something happens while we're on air and recording. That door will fly open.
Don't say
the saw is going to come dancing into the room by itself.
No.
We're here for you. And then
making it funny makes it less scary. So the lights flickering and then the sound in the bathroom, the heavy sound in the bathroom. And then over the next week, I just noticed the heavy sound in the bathroom over and over and over.
Whoa.
So it just felt less and less friendly.
Okay.
So I started to think like, okay, well, something's going on. And I think at that point, I wouldn't go anywhere in the house without my animals.
Oh,
you're so scared, huh?
So scared, like really scared. Just, I don't want to be alone in the house. I asked my husband if he could work from home. So
now has Patrick, your husband, has he heard this noise in the bathroom too?
No.
Or just for you?
Just for me.
Okay.
Only after he leaves for work.
Of
so
course.
I was like, oh, you're messing with me. Okay.
Uh-huh.
The next couple times it happened, it wasn't like fun or like questioning anymore. It was like, what are we going to do? It felt like a movie. I mean, it was like, we just bought this house and we just moved in.
Yeah.
Is there now a spirit here?
Okay. So at this point, you've now experienced several mornings of this intense loudness coming from above you upstairs. Do you connect it with this saw that you bought?
Oh, for sure. We're both like, it's this freaking saw. And the saw, I mean, that was the only thing that had changed in our household.
Yeah.
How long were you in the house before you brought the saw in?
I guess we lived there a couple months.
A couple months.
That.
Okay, so you've been there a couple months. No crazy sounds, no flickering. You bring the saw home, crazy sounds, flickering. You're both convinced that it's the saw.
So then you immediately throw the saw away, right?
No.
Okay. What do you do?
I put the saw outside.
Uh-huh.
Oh, your beautiful vintage saw. Toss that in the yard.
I know. And it was expensive too. So I put the saw outside and I was like, wait, don't be an idiot. Spirits have no boundaries. Like, you can put this thing in Timbuktu. It knows you now, like it's attached.
Okay.
So I'm like back working in my office. And at this point, I'm just like, anything to make me laugh, anything to make me happy or jovial or think about anything else is welcome. All three animals are in every room with me, no matter what. I'm talking restroom.
Okay.
All three animals.
Okay.
So very scared. And I'm working and the cat does this interesting, unusual thing where he's sitting in front of me. I'm sitting here. He's sitting on my desk and he kind of makes an arch around my head, looking around my head.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, nothing, you know? But I've never seen him look at anything like that before.
Like looking just past you.
Yeah, you know, if I'm looking behind you and all around you and I'm moving all weird and his eyes got really big, you know.
Are you still like battling with this, your pets following you in every room, or has there some resolution?
Yeah. Finally feel better about it and not as scared. I really wanted to resolve the situation because I really don't like the feeling of being scared. I mean, who likes fear, you know?
Right.
So I summoned my deceased dad for help.
Okay, right. We took a left-hand turn here. So is it like a proper seance?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
No.
Not that I know what or how.
No. I mean, I have talked to him so much since he passed away that it's not this production, you know, It's just a natural, normal kind of, you know, to the effect of, Dad, I need your help. I need this to stop and I'm ready for you to take care of it. Please. Thank you.
And did he take care of business? He did it?
Well, right after that, I then told the spirit that this was my house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whatever you want, you're not going to get it. This is my home. I live here. No one else lives here without my permission. So you can leave now. It's time for you to leave.
Well, so now I'm dying to know, like, you've summoned Father, you've, like, firmly said, get the fuck out. Like, was that it? Was that the key?
I don't know if that was the key, but my husband and I decided we were going to find out how to properly smudge the house. And we went to go get the sage from this little store. And when we were in this little store, I just felt so good. And I talked to the shopkeeper and her energy was just so warm and loving. And I just started to feel so much better. It was like a wave came over me. On the way home, I wasn't scared anymore.
Awesome.
I was just on the other side, you know?
Yeah. I love that. So since then, have you had any, like, the heavy bumps from upstairs or strange happenings since then?
Nothing.
Yes, I love that.
But I will say I almost went back on this podcast.
Oh, because you were so scared to come back. You didn't want, like, it feels like tempting fate to talk about it and be like, it's gone, it's done with. And then, like, tomorrow you might hear the bump again or something. We'll put out some good energy.
Tonight, we'll put out good energy. And you say, even though I talked about you, you are not welcome here. You can do it. Okay, That being said, I have a secret to tell you.
Tell.
Okay, so I heard the first part of your story at the birthday party. Just where you had gone, the Buda Antique Mall, and what you had purchased, and that it had a spirit attached to it. That's all I knew, right? So I went to the Buda Antique Mall because I just had to know. I went there and I walked in the door thinking, I was like, how am I going to be a detective? What am I going to do? I walked right up to the counter and I was like, hey, are you the owner? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, hey, is this place haunted?
Subtle.
And right away, he didn't say yes. He was like, I've got something here. And he starts like fumbling through like some business cards. He says the same thing that you said, that they had some paranormal investigators out there. And so I'm just going to tell you some stuff that I found out about the Buda Antique Mall. So a few months earlier, American Ghost Explorers, that's the name of these paranormal investigators, came out to the Buda Antique Mall. They'd heard the rumors also. First of all, I should let you know, you are not the first person to not only feel weird in this place, but also bring home an attached object.
Oh.
That being said, these investigators come and they have brought with them all of the gadgets that you do with paranormal investigation. One of the things they brought was an SLS camera. Have you heard of this before?
Mm-mm.
So we just recently, with our interview with ghost tour guide Monica, she told us about the SLS. It stands for Structured Light Sensor Camera. So basically, it's almost like an infrared light projector. And on the screen, it can detect spirits that are in the form of like stick figures, is how they're sort of shown up on the screen. So they have one of this set up, and they're talking with Robert. They're interviewing him. They're recording him. And while they're interviewing him, I should mention, Robert is the name of the owner of the Buda Antique Mall. That's important.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they're interviewing him. Robert looks over and says, "Hey, your camera's doing something." And on this SLS camera, they see a stick figure that's walking like right in front of them. And so the investigator gets really excited. And so he grabs the SLS camera and he's like, "Let's get him," like catch the ghost. And this stick figure walks through a wall. And Robert tells me later that this wall didn't exist previously. It was built with like one of the reconstructions or whatever, and then disappears. And so they start walking around downstairs, nothing. And then they decide to go upstairs. Are you okay if I play a recording from a little snippet from what I recorded?
Turn on all the
with Robert?
lights.
You want to go turn on some lights?
Yeah.
Okay, good. It'll
Yeah.
take me a second to get this.
Okay.
Okay, so I need to preface this before I go that this was on a Sunday, and this place is only open on the weekends, and so there was a lot of noise going on, and they've got like stereo set up kind of all around the place.
Nothing. Then we went upstairs. Okay, when we went upstairs, we went all the way around, and then when, I don't know if you've been here, there's plenty of people. Let me just show you real quick, and then we'll come back down.
He
Just
starts
so I can show you.
walking me around, walking up the stairs.
We came out here, and then we went all the way back, and then you go around there, and there's a hallway here.
This place is huge.
Yeah. Get on the other side of this wall. Get into this purple room, the last room that we opened up. Right before we got to it, like maybe 10 feet, there were two figures, stick figures on the ground, like playing jacks. You know what jacks are?
Yeah,
Sort of
yeah.
two small figures.
Clearly
Small figures
children,
on
huh?
the floor. And then when we got close enough, okay, from the purple room came another stick figure. And these kids stood up, or the small one stood up, and then they just disappeared. And this one came towards us, and we were like that with a screen and just passed by. Then they came
Did you
down
feel
here.
anything? No?
I didn't. Like I tell you, the only thing I saw was what was on the screen.
Yeah.
So he came this way, so we followed him over here, and then right there he disappeared. So we were walking around here, and then we went to the back again, walking around here, didn't see anything, walking around. Then when we were right here leaving, I said, okay, well, let's go ahead now and finish up the intro or whatever,
Yeah.
but I want to...
So he's telling me about these figures that are not, they see the one thing downstairs and then they go upstairs. They see the two children, this other figure. And then he tells me a little later on, there's this one figure they called the boxer because it was almost like his arms were doing this like upward boxing motion. And they ended up naming these spirits. Now, so once I heard that you were at the Buda Antique Mall, I was like, this sounds familiar. Like, I think that I've heard that this place is haunted before. So I started researching online. Buda Antique Mall, haunted. And before Robert owned the place, he's only owned it for a little over 3 years. There was another fellow that owned it named Jeff. Jeff has been interviewed several times about different spirits in that antique mall. And in one of the interviews that he was talking about with sort of the history of Buda was how he would walk around the property and randomly find little kids' jacks and balls around the property. And my brain went back to that being there with Robert and being like, holy shit, he literally just said playing jacks. So I wanted to give a little history about the Buda Antique Mall. I know that we may run over tonight, but I'm just so excited about this. And I'm so sorry if I'm freaking you out so much, Meredith. Are you okay? Your eyes are
I'm
really
okay.
big. Okay.
Yeah, I'm never going there again.
Totally fine.
Fuck that place.
So this building was built in 1915, and at the time it was the only 3-story building in all of Buda, and it used to, and I think they still tease that it's called the Buda skyscraper because it's 3 stories tall. During this time, it was a triage during the Spanish flu. And then in the 1940s, they converted it into a movie theater called the Lyric Movie Theater, and they would have a live piano player playing and play these old-timey movies. And a fun little side fact about that, outside, it's a red brick exterior. There are pencil markings of people who would sign their name and date it from the 40s that are still on the bricks. People waiting outside for the movie to start would sign their name in pencil. And there's like, John from 1943. It's pretty cool.
Wow. Did you see that when you went to visit?
I didn't. I only discovered it when researching the building. But I'm telling you, next time I go back to Buda, which I don't know how often I do because it's like an hour from me, but I'm definitely checking out that. And then in the 50s, it turned into an apartment complex. And then as people moved out, eventually it became the Antique Mall. And as people moved out, the mall expanded. First, it was just downstairs. Now it's the upstairs. And I remembered, though, why this building sounded familiar. And we've mentioned this podcast before, but have you heard of the Night Owl podcast?
Mm-mm.
It's an Austin-based podcast. Stephen Ballou is the host. They did 2 episodes on the Buda Antique Mall and interviewed the owner at the time, who was Jeff, and they interviewed the employees. And girl, you were not unfounded with your situation. So many things were documented. Cold spots throughout the building, smelling rose perfume throughout different spots in the building, objects moving, lights turning on and off, pictures being just flung off the wall, not dropping, but like flying off the wall. Jeff said that he had witnessed a misty apparition at one point. And one of the things that caught me, because I already knew your story, were the items that were attached to spirits. So one of the employees at the time had this little doll, and she was an employee, but she also had a booth there. So she had her like spot with antiques or whatever. And she had this little doll, and she every day, it was faced out on the shelf, facing out, looking at people, being creepy as dolls are. But she would come into work in the morning and the doll would be turned the other way, facing the wall with its back out. Now, this is at the time where she's the only employee. It's Jeff is the owner and she's the only employee. And she said it happened on a daily basis. Literally every time she'd come to work, she'd go to her booth, that doll would be turned backwards again. So she gets a friend doll for it, for lack of better words. She found this little 2-inch tall porcelain doll, and she sets it next to her little haunted doll. And it stops turning backwards. It stays the same way. Now, a customer comes by and wants to buy the little 2-inch doll friend, and she says, cool, you can have that. I will sell this to you, but you have to take this haunted doll with you as well. And they did. They were like, it's a pair, okay. And they took both creepy dolls. Another story they told was of...
I was gonna say, wait, did she sell it as that? Well, wait a minute. The haunted doll likes that doll, so you got to take the haunted doll too. And the person's like, okay.
I don't think she used the word haunted doll, but she said they're friends. They have to go together.
They're friends.
Oh my God.
Well, maybe keeping them together.
Okay, so there was one situation where they were very transparent. They had this one wardrobe there. And at this point, they had another paranormal investigation team, which I'll talk about here later, confirmed that there was a little girl that was attached to this wardrobe. And it's one of those wardrobes that opens up. It's like a closet, like it opens up, you hang your clothes, it closes the door, whatever. And this one continued to come unlatched. And they would check that latch. The latch works, it works, but then it would always open up. Come to find out from, I don't remember if it was a psychic or from the investigators, but it was a little girl was attached to this wardrobe. And Jeff, the old owner, contacted the owner of the wardrobe, and they confirmed, yes, there was a little girl who used to hide in that wardrobe, but she since passed away. And so they were well aware, okay, this wardrobe just has a little girl spirit. Now, eventually somebody comes along and they want to buy the wardrobe, and Jeff says, okay, I'll sell you this, but you just need to know that there's a little girl spirit attached to this wardrobe. And they're like, okay, we'll buy it anyways. And they take it home, and Jeff, I don't know if they were like came in regularly or what, but Jeff confirmed that they said to him, yeah, the spirit's in our house now. Like, I don't know any further details of what kind of hauntings they had, but they did confirm she's at our house now. The third, there's only 3 of these that with the attached objects, but there was a woman who came in and she bought this just small antique picture frame, and it's the kind that kind of folds into itself, and one side, I don't know, there's like a wife and a husband. One picture was missing, so it was just one picture of a woman. A few weeks goes by, and this person comes back. It's a woman. She comes back into the shop, and she says, I'm here to return this frame. I don't want my money back, but there's definitely something going on with this. And, at this point, the employees and Jeff, they know that they're like, well, what happened? I want to know. And she's like, I don't even want to talk about it. She's I don't even want to talk about it. I'm just going to like give this to you and bye.
Run away.
And then she leaves. Yeah.
Wow. That's exactly what we did when we returned the saw.
Oh, so you did? You returned it?
Oh, hell yeah.
Did you take it back to the antique mall?
Yeah. I mean, it was either that or like drive way far away and bury it like a mile. Like, what are we going to do? Yeah. We went up to the antique mall, and I guess they were about to close, and we're like, oh, no, you have to take this back. And the current owner said, no, what's wrong with it? Because we bought it on consignment, and I guess you can't return consignment. I said, oh, it's haunted, and it haunted our house. And he, that really ticked me off, because he kind of looked at me like, huh? Like, come on, dude. I know what you know.
Yeah.
Having met him, I will say he did not come across, he was not a Jeff. Jeff is like, he was like, Britt, all about it. Robert is he's kind of standoffish. Like, the very first thing is I said, is this place haunted? And instead of him being like, totally, he was like, well, let me find you the business card for these paranormal investigators or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. It's a place of business,
Yeah. So, there have been, I think now 3 paranormal investigators and 1 psychic who've like gone in. The Night Owl podcast has their own medium, and she came in. You'll have to listen to that episode though, because I don't want to give away all the spoilers, but she picks up some stuff too. So, but I'm excited to share this. So I'm speaking with Robert. He's telling me about the figures, and he says that when the paranormal investigation team was there, they had set up cameras in the upstairs in all of these different angles, so they're catching all sides of the upstairs, because that's where they've caught the most activity on their SLS camera. Now, the shop is open from Friday to Sunday, and they asked if they could keep it during the weekday, if they could have their camera set up. Robert says, fine, that's totally cool. Well, on Thursday, Robert has some items he has to bring up to the shop. So he calls up the investigator and he's like, hey guys, just want you to have a heads up. I'm going into the shop. I just have to drop some stuff off. Your cameras are going to be activated. It's not a ghost. It's just me. No big deal. And so he goes, he drops the stuff off. Now, as he's heading back towards the top of the stairs, he tells me that he's looking down at his phone, and he has been getting like all of these robocalls, like 20 a day, he says. So he's like going through his phone and he's like, delete robocall, delete. And he gets to the top of the stairs and he sees one robocall that's called like 3 or 4 times. And he goes, who's that? And he's like, delete. And then he proceeds to walk down the stairs. Well, later that day, he gets a call from the investigator, and he says, Robert, we saw you in the building. He's like, yeah, I told you guys I was there. And he was like, right. But did you hear anything when you were upstairs there? And he was like, no. And the investigator sent him a video. Can I play that video for you now? Is that going to freak you out?
Please, no. I'm good. I'm having
now. I've already sort of explained the scenario. So Meredith and Alyssa are going to actually be able to like see this, and you guys will just be able to hear it. But hearing is really where it's all about. So what the video that you guys are going to see is Robert upstairs. And he is walking. He has his phone in his hand. He's deleting robocalls. And at this moment, he's at the top of the stairs. Robert's walking down the stairs.
Oh!
I'm going to play that again.
Wait, so he says, what's that? Is he referring to his phone or the noise that
he's referring
hearing?
to his phone?
Oh.
I'm going to play it one more time, and then I'm going to play what Robert told me. So do you guys want to take any guesses what that sounds like to you?
I mean, it sounds like Robert. It sounds like its name, but
Robert.
Or robocall.
So what the paranormal investigators thought it said was, I'll be back. Like the Terminator. And I can play it again if you want to hear
actually, I want to hear it now once more.
We do.
Do you? Okay.
Because
did they really think that?
That's what they thought. And I do have one where they turn the audio up. Would that be better, or is this fine?
This is good.
How did they get I'll be back out of that? I'm sorry.
To me, it sounds like Robbie Black.
Yeah, or something. Robert. It definitely sounds like
I don't think it's English, y'all.
Holy shit, Meredith. Holy shit, Meredith. I can't believe you just said that. Okay, so here, let me stop sharing so I can see your faces. Holy shit. So one of the things that Jeff had mentioned happening is that he was upstairs and he heard German dialect being spoken upstairs. And he didn't really think much of it, but there is a huge history of Germans living in this area and actually all around sort of central Texas in general. I didn't even think about it being a different language. Where's our Germans? What does that say? What does it say in German? Oh my gosh. Okay, so even to the point that he had experienced this hearing this German speaking, and then they found a box that as somebody had moved out or they were renovating, and they found a box with these old journals in it, and they gave it to Jeff, and they were like, Jeff, I don't know what this box is. Take it. It's all of these journals that are from German descent, all written in German. That's insane. Okay.
Wow.
I'm going to play for you Robert's, after he plays for me that video as I'm standing in the antique mall. This is what he says. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to get to the spot.
Now I like the idea of just robocallers being like random demons trying to get through. Pretty much. They are
I'm having to
evil.
do this with my finger.
Britt, weren't you so scared in there?
Did you
No,
scream?
But I did not, because I'm more fascinated than scared. But something did kind of happen to me there, which I'll tell you in just a second. Okay, this is right after Robert shows me the video I just showed for you guys.
It does.
Must be Schwarzenegger. That's what I told him. I told her next time I talk, I was like, well, have you heard Schwarzenegger anymore?
It's so loud too. Oh my gosh.
And then I just went on. I didn't. If I would have heard that on top of the stairs,
I
I would
fell
have
down the stairs.
jumped from there to here, and then I would have been out without putting the alarm on. Are you kidding? That's what I told him too.
Yeah.
I said, if I would have heard that, bro, I would have been from the top of the stairs to the bottom of the stairs, out the door. Forget the freaking alarm.
Yeah.
He was, he heard nothing. So when I was there, I like tried. I was like, I'm gonna sense on my feelers. Like, I want to feel cold spots. I want to I was like, where am I getting the vibes? And I didn't have the feelings. I don't know if it's because my excitement with like talking with Robert, or just maybe I'm desensitized now. But I will say, so when I first started speaking with Robert, he left me on a cliffhanger. He was like, the paranormal investigators caught this video. Oh, here's a customer. I'll talk to you later. And I was like, okay. And so I had about 45 minutes to an hour to walk around this antique mall. And as I'm walking around, I was upstairs, and the upstairs is kind of a U shape. So you walk up the stairs, and then you walk to the left, and you walk around. And then he talks about that purple room that's at the end of the U. And then you have to walk back around the U to go back down the stairs. So I'm kind of at the bottom of the U part, and I'm standing there, and I hear this. And I was like, I think that might have just been like the music from the stereo. And so then I'm listening to the music. I'm like, is that the beat from the music? And then I heard it again, and I was like, cool. So I'm going to walk away from here now. Now, I'm not saying that was something. It could have been maybe they're doing construction outside down in the alleyway. There weren't, because I walked down that alley. But I did hear some weird knocking. I don't know if I'm going to claim that it was something or not, but it was out of place and kind of strange. But what I did do while I was there was something that you're going to like super hate.
Oh my God.
While I was walking around, I was like, I think I need to buy something. Like, really creepy.
Oh.
Just to I'm just curious. I don't know. Maybe just certain people are like, it can happen or not. So
Did you buy the saw?
I did not buy the saw, but I did
Okay.
take a picture. I did take a picture of the saws that were there. And I'm curious now if your saw was in that stack of saws.
Mm.
Do you guys want to see what I bought?
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh.
Oh, an antique clown. Oh,
It's so creepy.
Will you describe
Oh my.
it? Describe it.
Oh.
okay. It's a creature that is vintage. It's a head of something. It has an open mouth and 4 eyes, one on top of each other.
It's a bottle opener.
Oh.
You attach the screws in its ears, and then you open its bottle in its mouth. How creepy is it though, huh?
It is extremely creepy. It looks like a mask. Like if you wanted to make your cat look like a creepy ass dude with 4 eyes, you would put that on your cat. It's a
really
size.
it's like solid iron. It's
Oh,
metal.
is it? It's hard to. It almost looks like clay. To me, it looks like chipped and worn, and it is really creepy. That is a very creepy purchase, Britt. I'm kind of fascinated by this place.
After I checked out and I'm standing there and I'm chit-chatting with Robert, there was another fella that was at the counter named Bill. And he was like, "You just bought an item from my booth." And I was like, "Oh my God, tell me everything. What? I'm so intrigued. This is the creepiest thing in the shop. What? There's a lot of creepy dolls. I'm not about to bring that shit into my
Hell
house.
no.
Hard no. So I was like, "Tell me its origin." He says, "Well, his wife is the one who got that piece." He's like, she most likely got it in New Mexico. She loves all things antique. Our entire house is filled with antiques, which is why we have this booth here at the Antique Mall. And he's been selling piece by piece from their house because she passed away last year. And he's trying to sell the antiques from their home. And I was like, oh, shit, this is definitely haunted. But I haven't had anything super strange happen yet, but I do feel like kind of talking about it does kind of bring energy to things. So tonight, you and I both, Meredith, will just have to be like, "No, go away, goodbye, no."
Okay, my affirmation for whenever I'm scared, and Louise Hay taught me this, and it so works, is there is nothing here for me to fear. I am safe and well protected.
Oh, I love that. I'm writing it down.
Now I'm scared. I'm going to be editing this. I'm going to be editing this podcast, and it's just going to be like the whole time.
You'll have to listen to it so many times. I know.
We won't be able to hear it. It's going to be your fucking little mask thing you brought there. Oh, just for funsies.
Yeah,
I know.
really.
He's going to be interrupting the whole time.
I know. I'll have to pay attention now if I hear that. Or no, I'll have to set a recorder up, I guess, to really hear it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're recording this right now. It's going to be what is it? Just a German chant throughout, yeah.
Oh, shit.
I wonder if it's talking to the other things up there or if it was talking directly to him.
Ooh. It sounded like to him because he's at the top of the stairs. What is he trying to tell him? Oh, I wish I knew German so bad now.
It felt so aggressive, the tone of it.
Yeah, it did not sound right.
Yeah, that did not sound like welcome home.
Yeah.
I know.
I can't believe I stayed upstairs in that space for so freaking long.
Oh, and me too. I walked around that place probably 4 different times looking, and there's that. It's actually a pretty cool antique mall if you're into antiques.
It is.
Okay, so Meredith, I do have one final question for you.
Hit me.
End of the night. What 3 objects would Alyssa and I need to bring to a seance to summon you from the afterlife? Please don't say a old saw. Please don't say
An old saw.
Definitely one thing is a journal
Okay.
Okay.
for sure. And that's the item that's like my totem that I spend the most time with out of anything.
Okay.
Okay.
Like a nice moleskin.
No,
No.
it's a
Okay.
Specifics. We need to know, Meredith.
I'll show you the exact brand I have. And I promise you, every time I open it, I put my nose inside the spine because it smells so good. The leather is still perfumed after months and months.
Nice.
Probably my favorite pen.
Oh.
Pilot G2.
Pilot. G207, baby.
Okay.
All right.
And third, okay, if it was an action,
Sure.
Sure.
okay, then laughing.
Ah,
Yes, girl. I
love it.
love that. I love that. Okay, so we're all surrounded in a circle. Journals abound, just like maybe a big whole mountain of them. Journals. Everybody has a pen in their hand like a wand, and then we all are just laughing our heads off.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to show up?
I mean, if you call me, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
We are going to call.
I don't,
Maybe.
I don't know what I'm going to be like in the next life, but yeah.
We'll tell some jokes. I'll bring all the best puns. You will be like, no. That's not it.
Don't
Not
bring
coming.
that up,
There's
Alyssa.
shitty jokes. I can't make it.
Yeah.
I'm busy tonight. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Not tonight, ladies. Oh my God. I love it.
Okay, Meredith. Now is like the time for you to plug your stuff. I want to hear about your books. I want to hear about your podcast. Now is the time. Where can people discover you?
Okay, so a really great way to kind of find out what I'm doing is on Instagram. My handle is _this is Meredith, and it's spelled like Mare Edith. I post a lot about what poetry readings I'm doing. I do a good fair share of readings. You can read my work on a couple of different sites, but the main one right now is where I have an artist feature at Hatchlings Publishings. And you can just go up to their artist feature page. And my husband and I co-produce a podcast called Remarkable Voices, where we share conversations on culture, creativity, and big ideas. And that is on every streaming platform. And you can book me for a poetry reading for your event or your venue by getting in touch with me via email. My email is mjsubmissions1@gmail.com.
Well, I'm thrilled that we got to spend over an hour with you. This has been a true delight.
I loved it. And we haven't had like many haunted object stories. So I really love that you brought this to us. I just love that you're like, I need to get me a musical saw. I need to learn this. Like, that's what started all this, was your like ambition to learn how to play the saw. And I'm like mildly disappointed you're not fulfilling that dream, because it sounded like a great passion. Didn't seem like it was like, oh, there's someone in the background. He scared the shit out of me.
Oh,
Alyssa, your dreams are coming true.
Was he really there?
Oh, you scared me so bad.
You really did. Ooh. Okay. Right, we're alive still.
Oh, she's checking her heart rate. It's bad.
Your husband's not like out of town for a week or anything. That really just happened, right? He's there.
What if the screen went black?
I know.
Oh my
and then
God,
we just I don't know what we do.
All right. Hey, Meredith.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Alyssa.
Yeah, Britt, what's up?
Haunt y'all later.
Oh.
Haunt you later. You say
later.
She just says later.
Thanks for the SkeleTalk.
Good night.